Gordon. So welcome to today's webinar, which is ISO certifications in construction, building better businesses. And it's myself, Flora Neville, and Chris, who you will be hearing from today. Chris will be taking you through the bulk of today's webinar. Do you want to introduce yourself now, Chris?
Yeah, of course. So hi everyone, my name's Chris. I'm an ISO consultant and a technical specialist working over here at Citation ISO. So I specialise in the implementation, consultation and auditing of ISO management systems, including the three that we're going to be talking about today. Four actually, there's reference to a fourth, but mainly three, which is ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and ISO 45001. So let's begin.
Fantastic, thanks Chris. What we're talking about today then is why are ISO standards so important in the construction industry, in the construction sector. So we're going to look at that. The top three ISOs, or including another, Chris has just said there he's got another one to speak to you about as well. But the top three ISOs for the construction sector, good grief, and ISO standards to showcase your ESG commitment. So key things, and we'll cover all of those today. So do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, so a little bit about Citation ISO. We offer a complete service of ISO certification and then ongoing support. So right from consultation, where we will review your practices, we will create a gap analysis, we provide management systems, ongoing annual surveillance auditing, compliance auditing to a range of ISO standards. We've implemented over 30,000 management systems across the UK. And like I said, then management systems are tailored to suit your business needs. We have 60 consultants who are available in person and remotely. Remotely is a new thing now. We've been with Citation for a few years, but we've been in 30 years in business. So I will pass back over to Laura.
Thanks, Chris. Why ISO standards are so important then in the construction sector? 69,000 workers suffering from work-related ill health, and unfortunately figures like that are all too common and rising. 45 fatal injuries to workers, 53,000 non-fatal injuries to workers, which is, really, really high numbers, and 16,000 suffering from work-related stress, 2.6 million lost days and 1.3 billion pounds is the economic cost. So those figures speak for themselves. You can see the importance of making sure that what's in place is right, making sure that the standards are high, and that's the key thing with the ISO is, there is a high standard. It's keeping to that high standard and ensuring that you've got the safest environment you possibly can have. And Chris is going to talk to you about a lot of that today. So I'll just pass back to yourself. Thanks, Chris.
Really quickly, I can see in the comments, Tony is having an issue with sound. Does anybody else have any issues with sound? Is everything coming through okay? Somebody could just
coming through okay to me.
Yep, I can hear you fine. It is a little bit glitchy as well. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
We'll keep going.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
And
it might be an
hopefully
internet connection issue.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
At times. If there's anything that does glitch out and you want us to repeat, we can do.
Yeah.
We'll just have to keep plowing through.
Keep an eye on it. Yeah.
Using phone line now. Yeah, it's coming through a little bit robotic, but okay now. Okay, well, we'll keep going and we'll see how it goes. So, what is ISO standards? And what ISO standards are most suitable for construction industry? And the answer is any really. But the main focus today is we're looking into ISO 9001, which is the quality management system, ISO 14001, which is the environmental management system, and ISO 45001, which is the occupational health and safety management system. And all of these standards themselves have different significances within construction and within business generally. But collectively, ISO certification, it does give you a competitive edge, and it can help businesses reduce their cost by identifying areas of efficiency or deficiency, looking at business risk, looking at controls, and looking at how to mitigate and reduce risk. Part of especially ISO 14001 and ISO 45001, it talks about how you need to be aware of current legal and compliance obligations that you may have. It introduces processes where you would need to review these on an ongoing basis. And before putting any form of controls in place, relating to any risk, you may need to consider if there's any legislation which governs what controls you need to put in place. It helps deliver projects on time by managing external resources more efficiently, by managing staff, ensuring staff are trained and competent enough in their roles, and it also monitors customer satisfaction. And there's general monitoring and measuring as well, whether you want to deliver things on time in full, whether you have snagging lists, or whether you have ongoing inspections which you need to adhere to. It helps gain repeat business through monitoring and measuring processes, being able to meet the needs and expectations of your interested parties, which would be your customers, your staff. And it shows commitment to the quality of work. Again, the monitoring and measuring element of things, making sure that there's a standard in place and that the standard is being adhered to. These benefits are both internal and external. If we go back 10 years, no longer than that now, that's what I used to say 10 years ago. If we go back 20 years, we would be looking at quality management system or an environmental management system, which would purely focus internally. Now there's elements and controls like the life cycle perspective, which means you need to consider both internal and external factors relating to health and safety and environmental issues, and also business risk. A prime example of this is taking something like the pandemic and taking into account all of the implications and all the risks that is brought to business. So these benefits and this monitoring and measuring does help both internally and externally. So what we're going to do now is we're going to break down each standard into a little bit, touching upon how they could benefit the construction industry. So
just before we do that, can I just ask a quick question? Can you see that poll okay, guys? So the question is your business looking to tender for more work in the next 12 months? It's just a very simple yes or no. If you can just answer that. Just quickly as well, while people are doing that, Chris, there was a question there somebody put on, how do these ISOs compare to the UCAS? Little clarification would be helpful.
All ISO standards will have an accreditation body. The accreditations body would audit the certification body, which is what we are, and we would have to work to specific standards and deliver the products and services in a specific way. We are audited on an annual basis to the exact same standard that UCAS are. UCAS government backed, and we use the ASCB, which is a different accreditation body. The difference is preference. The thing that I tend to say to a lot of clients is if a supermarket is, let's say, I'm going to be shopping at Tesco and the government backs Asda, does it mean that Tesco are inferior? People are still going to shop at Tesco, and it's becoming less and less of a question that's asked as whether bodies are UCAS accredited. But just to let you know, we are not UCAS, we are ASCB. But the standard, the management system, what we deliver is exactly the same. I'm trained UCAS, I come from a background of UCAS, so I can on the heart say that they are exactly the same, and we deliver the same products. Sound is going in.
Thanks. Yeah, I noticed it was a little bit there. I don't know if it's maybe your mic, Chris. Can you just maybe? It was just a little bit. Maybe just move it up a little bit. It wasn't cutting off completely or anything. So.
Okay. It's my microphone.
Yeah, yep. I think it was just maybe move it up a little bit or something. Yeah, that's.
I'll tell you what. I'll hold better.
It. That's better. Don't move.
I'll try not breathe on it.
There we go. There's the results there. So
there we go.
Yeah. lots of people are looking at tender for more work in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So,
So one of the benefits of ISO 9001, any ISO standard, is that it may appear within tender. In tender applications, you may notice that there'll be a section will say, do you have an XYZ management system? And if you do have your ISO accreditation, you will be able to turn around and say, yes, we do. And it does save a lot of input information. It saves a lot of time and a lot of effort, because you will be able to just supply your certificate or supply your management system and say, this is what we are working to, this is what we are annually externally audited to, and we are certified to. So it does actually cut down a lot of the tender process. It is ISO 9001 is the world's most recognized quality management system. It is used worldwide. It is an international standard, just like the other two standards that we're going to be talking about. And it does focus on delivering constant quality. And quality, if we go back, like I say, 20 years, quality would have been focused on product or service delivery. But quality, this is quality of business. So this is business practices. And this is looking into how you deliver quality from the ground up. I do apologize if my microphone is dropping in and out. I'm doing the best I can. So the benefits of ISO 9001. They do streamline operations. We can look into areas of business, and we can streamline potential processes to make sure that things are working more efficiently and effectively, reducing the amount of input to some processes, and hopefully gaining benefits in the output. It also focuses on quality control. When we're looking at operational performance, it's looking at how you as a business control the services and products you deliver, how you monitor and measure them, and how you ensure you're delivering to a consistent standard. It also helps win more businesses. For example, being able to say that you have an ISO certification, depending on regardless of what standard it is, it gives your customers, it gives your staff, and it gives your interested parties and your clientele the assurance that you are working to a specified standard, and that standard is being externally audited and certified on an annual basis, and which then feeds into increasing customer confidence as well. So they can be sure that you do have an efficient management system in place. The next is ISO 14001, which is more of my background. I came from a background working in ISO 14001, and it's the international standard in environmental management systems. It helps you address environmental aspects and impacts. It helps with resource efficiency. It's sustainability as well. There's been a lot talking about sustainability, ESG, and how businesses are aiming to perform better going forward. Environmentally, that is. And 92% of our clients say that their business is recognized for being environmentally conscious. It is a great thing to be able to put upon your business wall and say that we have an environmental management system. We are aware of the aspects and the impacts that we are causing on the environment, and we do have controls in place to at least a minimum monitor and measure them. It helps towards continual improvement. If you're being able to identify what potential aspects and impacts you have. An aspect is the cause and the impact is the effect of an environmental factor. So if you're aware of what you're doing, it's then giving you the opportunity to be able to controls in place and continually improve. Also, it works better towards legal compliance with both the environmental and health and safety management system. Like I was saying earlier, there is a requirement for you to be able to monitor your legal and compliance obligations, and to be able to monitor them and put effective controls in place is a key part of ISO 14001. It boosts your bottom line. It opens new business opportunities. I've had several clients that I've spoken to in the past that have said that they're being more recognized for being environmentally friendly, and that they are winning business based on that, because I'm noticing quite a lot that it's becoming more and more of a requirement of some companies to be able to say, we want you to ensure that you are green, or that you are working towards net zero, or you have an ESG plan in place. And ISO 14001 works quite well towards that. And again, it enhances your reputation as well. So now, ISO 45001. ISO 45001 is the management system for occupational health and safety. And this may seem like this is probably the most relevant one of the three, especially within construction. And it is probably the most common of the three for the construction industry behind ISO 9001. It is a management system that's designed, again, like the 14001, to be able to identify potential hazards and risks, and for you as a business to be able to look into them risks and look at whether there's any processes, policies, and procedures that you can implement that can either mitigate the risks, reduce them completely, or completely get rid of them. Obviously, the occupational health and safety management system is heavily leans on legal and compliance obligations, which most businesses, and especially in the construction industry, will have in place. But it's that external audit on an annual basis to ensure that your internal processes are meeting an international standard. And it emphasizes on the importance of worker involvement. So these three management systems that we're talking about, they used to be really standalone processes, management systems, procedures that would work alongside the business, but it's a requirement of ISO for you to have that integration now. And one of the ways that you can integrate quite efficiently is for you to be able to have that worker involvement, that feedback. And that can form part of regular meetings, it can form part of internal audit processes, or even just accident and incident reporting. Sometimes you won't know that there is a hazard in a specific area or an environmental risk unless somebody tells you. So it's about having that involvement, having that communication, and it really being a management system to benefit the workers as well as the business by creating a more safe and pleasant working environment. Again, the benefits of ISO 45001 are similar to the benefits of ISO 9001 and 14001, except that we've got the emphasis on hazard identification and assessment of risk, and creating environments like reducing workplace accidents and incidents by learning from your mistakes, learning from incidents that have happened, having adequate reporting procedures, and then learning from them, having toolbox talks, having communications with staff, looking into different processes and procedures such as PPE. It's also about looking externally and looking at what we refer to as external context and looking at things that are happening within the industry. I know in a previous role, we used to sit and we used to look at accidents and incidents that happened within the industry and use that as a lessons learned to ensure that it wouldn't happen on our side. Which then again boosts productivity. You've got a safe working environment, a pleasant working environment, so productivity goes up. You're obviously going to be looking into your 9001 to ensure that you're streamlining your processes as well. Again, wins more business. It helps towards the tender process. It gives your customers and it gives your clients that assurance that you are being externally audited, again, to an international standard. Same again, better legal compliance as part of this. When you're identifying hazards, looking into risks, before you put any controls in place, you need to be looking at, is there any form of legislation which governs what we need to do? And if so, we need to make sure that we are doing that. And then we need to monitor that and make sure that over the next however many years that we have to have this management system, has there been any change in that legislation? And is that going to have an impact on us as a business? Again, enhances reputation, and less accidents means less time off, which means better resource, save money. So effectively, it will help you financially in the long run. Okie dokie.
Couple of questions come in there.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I can't see.
Yeah, no, you can't do you can't talk and do it often.
Yeah, no problem.
There was one previously as well, talking about on-site audits and how often do you do an on-site audit?
Okay, we do annual surveillance audits. So based on which process you opt to go for, say that we are going to go for what we call a premium product, which would be a consultancy process. We would do an initial consultancy where we would come in, we would review your internal processes, and we would provide you with a documented process-based management system within our Atlas ISO platform, which houses all of your documentation. It has templates, it has a tasking system, it has the ability to be integrated with Citation's health and safety platform, which also feeds into ISO 45001. We would then, that would be what we would call a stage one. We would then potentially leave you with a number of tasks based on a gap analysis. We would identify where you are, current state, against where you need to be. We would then allocate you some time to be able to go away and put these actions in place. Once these actions have been put in place, what we can then do then is in your what we call your pre-certification audit, which you would choose when you would like that. You don't have certification at this point. This is the point where we would check any actions or tasks which we need to address. Anything that we've deemed as needs to be put in place prior to certification, we would check that. We would then give you a run through of the Atlas system, make sure that you're familiar with where your system, where your processes are, and then we leave you to it. We say, you have your management system now. We are happy with the processes that you have in place. And then roughly from that date of that appointment is when you would have your annual audits, subject to change slightly, but you would have an annual surveillance audit where we would come back, we would do a full system audit, or as closest to the full system audit as we can in the time allocated, and we would check evidence for the previous 12-month period, and we would go through and we would repeat that based on whatever your contracts you have in place or what your needs and expectations are from us with regards to a term. So I hope that answers that question.
Somebody just adding in there as well, are they face-to-face audits or are they remote audits?
We offer both. So we only do face-to-face audits if somebody has a site that we can visit. We don't visit residential anymore due to health and safety, or if an office space has been booked on behalf of yourselves, we're more than happy to visit there. But yes, we can do face-to-face, and we also do remote teams as well, where we would sit opposite yourselves and carry out either a consultancy or a like this, exactly like this. It's the exact same chair.
Yeah, brilliant. And somebody was asking as well, do you have to do the ISOs in any particular order? So example 9001 first, or can you obtain them in any order?
You can obtain them in any order. As a consultant, I have preferences, not gonna lie. So yes, the answer is any order. That is the official answer. ISO 9001 kind of is the foundation of the other standards. It looks into a lot more detail into external factors, internal factors. When you have a fairly robust ISO 9000 management system, and it kind of gives you a good foundation of what's expected of ISO. So then to introduce things like 14001 and 45001, you can add them on at a later date. You can add in the extra controls, and it could be separate management systems. As far as extra work, there wouldn't be as much. And we also offer integrated management systems, which if you want to be brave, you can tackle on all three at once if you want, which in all fairness, again, isn't much more work. If you think that ISO 9001 is about 90% transferable to other standards, minus the operations section, which is your service delivery, you just need to add in the risk element of the 14001, the risk and the control. So that would be carrying out an environmental review. And then in the 45001, it would be what are your controls related to health and safety on top of your operational procedures, which in some cases, for like construction, if you have something along the lines of construction phase plan or something like that, that would tick a lot of boxes for all three standards. So it's entirely up to yourself. There's no requirement for you to go in any order, though.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris.
There's another one that's just come in on the question and answer as
Oh,
well, talking about the sheet. So we have something called an internal checklist that we conduct in the consultancy, which we conduct with yourself. We will sit opposite you, and this is what generates the tasks, and it's effectively a gap analysis. Uh, I don't have anything that I can provide right now for that, because that's obviously one of our core products. I hope that helps.
great.
Okay, let me just minimize the question tab, and we're back again.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully, is my audio okay now?
Yeah,
I'm
no, it seems to
okay.
be okay.
I think I'll be getting a new headset. Okay. So ESG, we've actually done a webinar on ESG and how ISO works quite well with ESG. But just a little brief overview. Is ESG is short for environmental, social, governance, and these are the three pillars that represent the business impact on society, the environment, and how transparent and accountable businesses are. Obviously, with ESG, it's a requirement for you to set goals and to achieve the goals and to put plans in place for you to be aware. And like any other standard, it's about continual improvement. And as part of continual improvement, one of the first stages is identification. And ISO 9, 14, and 45 talk a little bit about or feed into the environmental social governance structure. You'll notice in there as well, there's actually two other standards. One is ISO 45003, very closely linked to ISO 45001, except this is psychosocial risk. So we're not talking just about physical risk, we're also talking about mental risk and the relationship between physical risk and mental risk and vice versa, and how that has an impact on staff and performance as well. And then also down at the bottom there where we're talking about governance, ISO 27001, this is information security, where information is used, how you protect information, what policies, processes, procedures do you have in place to govern whether you are handling the information securely, effectively, including access control to systems and things like malware, cryptography, that sort of thing. It's an information security standard anyway. So we'll go on to the next slide. Sustainability. So ISO 14001 and actually all three all feed into a sustainability model. You'll probably be hearing it quite a lot of our business wanting to be sustainable. We're wanting, and one of the ways to be able to assist achieving that is these standards. And what we've also done is within the Atlas platform, we've created a free sustainability assessment. And this is fantastic. I recommend this definitely, especially if you've got 14,001. And what it is, it's a little survey that you can run through. It asks you a few questions about your business, its performance, what equipment they use, that sort of thing. And what it'll do is it'll takes a few minutes, and then you'll get a free sustainability report. You can see how sustainable your business is, and it'll also give you recommendations on things that you can improve. This sustainability report can also help towards in your ISO 14001 objectives and targets, also operational controls. If it's stating that you've fluorescent bulbs still, it might make a recommendation to introduce things like timed lighting or LED lighting, which can also feed into your environmental management system. And it'll look and we also have a sustainability hub as well, which has a lot more information around how you can build your business to be more sustainable based on the report, controls, procedures, and processes. I appreciate that might be a little bit small. I'm going to look over to my other screen because it's a little bit bigger, just so I can read a little bit. But yeah, so this is kind of the front page of it. You'll see at the bottom there it says take the assessment. Say it's a free product that we've offered out to all of our clients. And if you are and you do have access to this, I highly recommend just taking a few minutes of your time just to go through it and see what it tells you. Definitely.
Great. Thanks. I think we've just got a wee question to pose in here.
Yeah, we have. I think we just went past one, didn't we?
That's okay. I'll just do that now. Can you see that okay, everybody?
Yeah, no problem.
Just really to say, does everybody have a deeper understanding of how ISOs can support your business? I know Chris has gone through lots of benefits and all the rest of it there. So that's the key thing is, understanding how the ISOs can support your business is the key thing. Sophie's just asking there about the free assessment. That's on Atlas, isn't it?
Yes, it is on Atlas.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mind's down the left-hand side on the kind of panel down the left. If that's my memory.
Yeah, it's on the left-hand side. on the left-hand side menu, and if you go down to the bottom, it should say Atlas Assessment.
Yeah. And Dave's just put in there, issue seems to be ISO standard accredited by UCAS. Can you please clarify this again, as it cut out the last time?
Yeah, no problem. So UCAS is a government-backed accreditation body. There are lots of accreditation bodies across the UK. We use the ASCB. We're audited to the exact same certification or accreditation standard that we need to be certified to, which is exactly the same as UCAS. It's down to preference. I've come from a UCAS background, coming to ASCB, and the audits, the systems that we provide are compliant to the standard, and are exactly the same. So the systems are the same. Hopefully, you caught that time when my microphone didn't kick out. And also just to touch on the poll a little bit, and there's people that don't feel they have a deeper understanding. We have literally scratched the surface in this webinar. There are lots of benefits, and I think for you to really identify the benefits that impact you is to have a consultation or to sit down with a consultant and to run through what the requirements of the standard are. And I think one of the benefits that Citation ISO take is that we do look at what you have got existing. We try and make what you have currently work towards an ISO management system, albeit you may need to introduce a little bit of documentation here or there. I think for probably about 90% of especially the ISO 9001 consultancies I do, is a lot of our clients have the processes there. It's all built on best practice. So the processes are there. They just might lack the documentation, which is the side of ISO wants you to have. And it is being able to, for us to be able to audit that and to be able to evidence that you do have the processes in place. And most of the time, that's all it is. With the 14 and the 45, obviously we're leaning on legal and compliance obligations as well, which the 14 and the 45 do emphasize on that. Obviously we have the Citation health and safety product as well, and we also have HS Direct as well, who will also feed into their controls and what they offer, feed very well into 45,001. I know as a consultant, if I go into a client and they've got 9001 and they've got Citations health and safety, that they would have very little to do to achieve ISO 45001. Because the foundations of ISO is understood with the 9001, and then the health and safety controls and the Atlas health and safety platform that Citation covers off the majority of everything else. Not everything, but yeah. Okay, just having a look for the questions.
Yeah, a couple of about Atlas. So just saying who's best to contact. You should have whatever you've got Atlas support, probably, just in case maybe there's an update or something like that, Cindy, that or something that's gone wrong there with your Atlas, because it should be
a feedback tab somewhere on the page. Obviously I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's the bottom left. There's a feedback tab. What that does, it will take a screenshot of the page that you're on, and what you can do is you can submit that. It comes up with a little chat box, a little email tab. You can add in your question, your comment. If you feel something isn't working efficiently, you can actually submit that, and we'll receive that and we'll be able to action that for you.
Yeah, we'll make sure that you're on to
it. By Citation, I think I've been through quite a lot of this already, just naturally throughout the webinar anyway. But we all have experts in house, and one thing I can say about the bank of consultants that we have is we all have different areas of expertise across different industries. My background being plastics manufacturing and environmental management systems and psychosocial risk and mental health and safety is my background. So we have lots of different experts in-house, not just in the field. We have a fantastic team in the office of technical specialists. We have a technical team, compliance teams. We have ongoing support. If there's ever any point that you're unsure with something with your ISO, we are a phone call away. We do offer that ongoing support. We like to keep it simple. We simplify processes. We try and make it easy. We don't like reinventing the wheel. If there's something that we feel that you're doing already, let's use that. Let's use that. And it's a straightforward process and can help you gain certification in as little as 45 days. It can do, albeit that you've got all your ducks in line ready to rumble on day one. We're also part of something bigger. So Citation ISO is obviously part of Citation Group. You've heard me mention the health and safety team. We have HR, employment law. We have HR advice lines, employment law advice lines. We've got SMARS, which is connection with SSIP. Health and safety solutions. We've got the Atlas portal on both sides. We also have Citation Cyber as part of group as well. So if anyone's got any concerns around information security or anything like that, especially with majority of us working remotely now, definitely cyber security has become a big thing. We offer Cyber Essentials, things like that. And then the technology, we have Atlas. It can be accessed anywhere. It's an online platform. I'm not awfully familiar with the health and safety side of things. I do use it myself as a user of the system. Health and safety risk assessments. We do holidays, holiday planning, time planning, e-learning, web learning. Over in Citation, we have ISO Mentor, which is a ongoing on-demand webinar service where you can sign up to and learn about a specific section of ISO. We've got Atlas Citation, Atlas ISO, so we've got plenty of technology to be able to help you be able to manage. So you don't typically need anything going into the consultancy process. Right, so we've got one more poll now.
We do, and we've got some questions too. That says, and this one is just if you want to find out more about ISOs, which I'm sure a few of you will, then just highlight that there, and we will make sure that that's picked up for you is the key thing.
While you're doing the poll, I can answer one of the questions. And it's stating that you say you create management system that works for companies. Does it mean you write policies and procedures? So yes, to an extent. So we offer a ISO management system which would cover the requirements specifically of ISO. So we would provide a bank of processes which would be in alignment with that, along with, depending on what standard you go for, policies. So typically we would offer a quality policy, an environmental policy, and we would offer a health and safety policy statement. We don't provide health and safety policies. If you're going for something like ISO 27001, we offer a bank of processes and policies relating to information security, from cryptography through to access control. The processes outside of that and the policies outside of that we don't provide, but we may make suggestions within a consultancy to say to you that actually we think it would be beneficial for you to create this policy. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. And I think we've got contact information at the end. Someone's just come through wanting a cost for services we provide. I believe that we is there a contact information at the end? There isn't, is there? There is.
If you just want to pop, MD is looking for pricing and things like that, because obviously it depends on individual scenarios and requirements. So if you just want to put your details in the chat box and when is best to call you, so if that's tomorrow or yeah, tomorrow's Friday. I had to think about that there. Monday or whenever's good for you. Just put in the best time to give you a buzz. Pop in a time, and whether it's Friday or Monday or Tuesday, whatever. Pop in a time and a date, and we will get in touch with you. Just so that we've got an understanding of what your needs are, and then that's the best way for there's a no obligation, because I see Cassie's saying there as well about costs, and yes, it is best to book in a chat, and the chat is absolutely free. There's no obligation. It's more just making sure that what we're giving you prices and things for is right, and what your needs are is the key thing. So absolutely pop in there. Claire, I can see that's fine. Somebody will pick up with you tomorrow, and just so we're getting it right for you guys is the key thing. So please do pop your details in there if you want somebody to give you a wee buzz, and have a wee chat. There is absolutely no cost to doing that whatsoever, and just having a chat is not a problem at all.
Okay. I'll answer. There's a couple more questions that have come in.
Oh, yeah.
ISO seems intimidating for a small business. We have less than 30 employees. Are we still able to get the accreditations? I've done it for a one-man band before, so I hope that answers your question. Size doesn't really matter. Quite a lot of our clients are very small businesses. The policies, the processes, and the procedures that you need in place aren't impacted by the amount of staff you have. Obviously, the more staff you have, the more work it potentially may be, based on things like communication and training and competency and things like that. But no, ISO is completely tailored. We can tailor it to the size of your organization, whatever your processes, whatever your procedures are. No matter what service you deliver, we will work our way around it, and we'll figure it out for you. Which leads me into the next question, which is talking about we've been only trading for 11 months. That doesn't matter. Again, we have companies newer than yourself. I know that I did say 12 months. That's typically if somebody has certification with us, we would look at evidence within the last 12 months. If you're a trading company and you've only been trading 2 months, and you can provide me evidence of everything within the last month, that's fine. There's no issues with that at all. We just need to make sure that you have a full implemented ISO management system, and that's on the basis that if it's a compliance audit. With the consultancy, we would naturally have the consultancy with you and give you that first year anyway. We kind of award you a year certificate to say, we expect you to manage and maintain this management system for your first year. We'll come back in a year's time and do a full system audit on you. We also offer compliance audit, which means that you would have your own management system. We have a lot of clients that come to us with their own manuals, their own documentation, and they've created themselves, or they've come from another certification body and said, can you certify us? And what we do is we go straight in with an audit, and we'll do a compliance audit and then give you our findings, and then you'll have a time period based on whether there's any non-conformances identified. You'll have a time period to rectify, which for major non-conformities is 60 days. But we would talk about that at the time that you're having the audit anyway. How much scope do you have? To make change to the platform to help customers be more agile with things like reports? I don't work on the platform, so I can't give you that information. I know all I can say is that we are aware that we have a feedback process. If you do have any specific recommendations, we do have a team that can handle recommendations coming in. We have developers constantly working on the platform. Like any other platform, is constantly evolving, constantly updating. So I can't give you a specific answer. I'm very political. I'm going to swerve around that one because I don't know. But yeah, if you'd be a bit more specific and maybe send in a feedback form of what you would like to see, then maybe somebody in the office can assist you with that one there. And
what I would say there as well is it is in-house, all of it, so it's not like we go to an outside developer to, so we hence the reason it is updated on a regular basis. So yeah, absolutely, Chris has said, Alan, I would just put that into the team, and hopefully they'll come back to you with that.
Yeah, all I can say is that the platform is considerably is advanced considerably since we implemented ours in 2018, I think it was. over at Citation ISO. And it's developed and evolved since then, and it will continue to, just because everything has to. You keep the game, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So is there any other? I think it's the next slide. Hang on, let me go to the official slide.
I was going to say, if you want to just pop
Yeah,
on.
is there any other questions? I've been answering questions on the question slide.
That doesn't matter. You can pop the next one up probably as well, just in case anybody is.
Yeah.
And yeah, if there is anything else, please just pop it in. We're not running off anywhere. Please do input it.
And this is this the last slide? Yes, it is. Yeah, talk to us. Let us know what you think about the webinar, about our products, our services. If you're interested in anything else, we want to build that relationship. We wanted to speak to you. We want to be able to hopefully provide services which you require. So, like I say, we're part of a larger group. There's not just ISO that we offer. Ask the question. You get on a call with one of our team. Ask them, do you offer this? Because the chances are we probably do. Yeah, hopefully we'll maybe see you all again in the future.
Yep, and Claire and Cassie, I have made a note there that we will be in touch with you. And yeah, somebody will be in touch with you before the 25th. Claire, absolutely no problem at all. We'll get that picked up. And same with you, Cassie. Somebody will give you a call on Monday. If anybody else wants any further information regarding, you know, the options, the pricing, whatever else, how it can help you, what the options are as well, to talk in a bit more detail, and the whole process, then please do just highlight that in the chat box. More than happy to pick that up with you. As I said, there's no obligation. We're happy just to have a wee chat with you. No problem at all. Chris and I are also not running off, so if you do have more questions, then please don't hesitate to pop them in there. Thank you very much, Chris, as ever. A huge fountain of knowledge and covered a lot of ground, and much appreciated as always. And thank you to you guys as well for joining us, taking time out your valuable day. And if there is anything else, don't hesitate, please get in touch. Even if it's after today and you think, oh, could have done this, that, or whatever else, do get in touch with us. And we will absolutely be, you know, and happy to help in any way that you need it, or answer any questions that you've got. Not a problem at all. Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
Anything further from yourself? Sorry, Chris, should ask you.
No, that's everything. That's everything.
Brilliant. Glad it's been helpful. Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
All the best, guys.
Okay. Don't see anything else question-wise yet, so that's fine. Hopefully we've covered, I think we've covered everything. Odette is just saying one of our creditors rejected the ASCB, and she's just wondering again regarding the UCAS thing, but I think you've pretty much covered that.
Yeah,
contact.
Yeah, I would contact us directly, contact our office directly with regards to that, and speak to them.
If you want to put your details in a debt, we can pick that up, no problem at all, and speak to you directly about it. Just pop your details in if you want us to do that. Great. Okay. I think we've covered everything. If anybody does have anything else, you know where we are. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us, and we will happily pick up with you. No problem at all. But thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
See you later. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.